Another Zach Nip production, Jones. Mr. Fingaz.
Hey gang, what's going on? It's got Mr. Fingaz coming to you live from Zach Nip Central. I normally do these in the car, but just a comedy of errors the last couple times I tried to record. I pulled in the garage one day, went to push the button, and the garage door came down, and I had forgotten to turn on the lights, and the car went completely black.
Whole nine. He's accounted for as of. We'll link that nothing. He's accounted.
Black insert joke here. Then the last couple I tried to do, I got phone calls during the middle of them. Just
retail workers and convenience store workers and folks of that ilk. You guys be good to yourselves and to each other. We'll catch up with you later.
Just messed up the vibe. By then I had gotten where I was going, so I didn't have time to record. So here I am. Here is your week in review so far for Labor Day weekend 2025, week one. What is considered the last week was a soft open. For those of you that work in the restaurant business, you know what that's all about. Last week was a soft open. This is a full open. Every team on the board is out there doing their thing now. Some of the marquee matchups we're starting to see that we saw. The big names, the big guns came out this weekend. Some people had some really great wins this weekend. Some teams did not. Today, I'm just going to talk to you about a few of them. First of all, let's just go ahead and state the obvious. Listen, if you're whoever it is that puts together the thing about talking about who the Heisman preseason favorite is, y'all just put that on. Can we start putting that on ice until like week 5 or 6, like the college football playoff poll? Because that way, by now, you've got good tape on everybody that's all 136. You got good tape on all of them. You got plenty of reviews. You've seen win-loss records. You can see what they do in adversity. You see how they do when they're playing well. All of that. You guys just took a bunch of stuff against who played last season and put some names together, and then it just stuck a certain name at the top of the list. And I get it. Name recognition. And I get it. Hyping up what was supposed to be the biggest game of the day, marquee game, which was played early. But still, can we just tone that down a bit? Which we can just go right into from here. Texas, Ohio State. This was supposed to be the marquee game. Number 1 versus number 3. Now, I want to know how Texas, well, we know how. I just explained it, but I'm going to play dumb. I want to know how a team that did not win the conference, they got into the playoffs, but did not win their conference and didn't advance deep into the playoffs, manages to come into the season as the number 1 ranked team in the country. And the team that wound up embarrassing everybody in the playoffs. Yes, they didn't win their conference. Yes, they lost to their in-conference biggest rival. But when it came time to go all gas, no brakes, they were slapping heads and taking lunch money all the way to hoisting the national championship trophy. And they came in ranked at number 3. Now, we all know how that happened. For those of you that don't, I'll go ahead and say it. There's a kid that's related to some really famous people on the team that was ranked number 1. And what they did was they ranked that team number 1 since he was ranked number 1 in the Heisman rankings. And then what that did was they ranked the previous champion number 3 so they could make it a big matchup. So either way they win. If Ohio State wins, which they did, then they get to move up in the rankings to where they should have been in the first place. And if Texas wins, big win for Texas and the Arch Manning gravy train. So, having said all of that, we did see Arch start a couple of games last year, but those games were started against teams that weren't a threat to Texas and their quest to get to the CFP and their quest to get through the conference championship and their quest to win a national title. So this was the first real test for Arch. This was his first real test. He played against the reigning national champions, the defending national champions, the Buckeyes. And we saw what he brought to the table. He only had 38 total yards rushing, less than 70 yards total by the first half. Did not have a whole lot of yards piled up at the end of the game. As a matter of fact, I've got it right here. He had 170 yards total passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception on 17 of 30. Now, I'm going to be fair on this one because Julian Sand only threw 13 of 20 for 126 and 1 touchdown. The defenses were playing their faces off. I will give them that. I mean, the 21 points between the two teams, and Texas still had a chance to be in it at the end of the game because of some big stops by their defense. But this is the time when you, as the leader, put your team on your shoulders and lead them into battle, into victory. And Arch wasn't able to do that against the defending national champions. Now, the remainder of their schedule, as it looks right now, not that I expect it to change. I don't know why I said it looks right now. They got San Jose State next week. That's a home game for Texas. And they're taking on UTEP and Sam Houston. In that order, not really expecting any one of the three of them to be a challenge. But then they take on number 15, Florida. If DJ Lagway is still healthy, that could be problematic. Then they're taking on Oklahoma at home on the 11th. John Mateer looked pretty good yesterday in his debut as OU's quarterback. Kentucky's not going to be a threat. Mississippi State's not going to be a threat. Then you got Vanderbilt. Well, Vanderbilt's got Diego Pavia back. Now, we don't know exactly what this is going to look like yet, but we're going to find out. And if they're anything like they were last year, it might smell blood in the water because that's what they did all last season. Then they come to Sanford Stadium to play Georgia right before Thanksgiving. They take on Arkansas. Don't see a threat there. They take on A&M at the end of the season. Don't see much of a threat there. But games that I see that could be oopsie games for Texas, Vanderbilt, and I say that with a straight face, Vanderbilt, Florida, and Oklahoma. Those 3 games could be problematic. If they lose 2 of those 3, that puts them at 9-3, and they might be outside the CFP looking in. I forget what record it was I gave them. I think I did them better than that. I might have had them at 11-1 or 10-2 or something like that. But they may wind up 9-3, and as we know from last year, 9-3 does not get you to the CFP. So, got to get a handle on that, Sark. He doesn't know me from the can of paint either. I'll call him Sark like we play golf together at the Ritz Club every weekend. And we know that's not the case. Oh, boy. Moving on to number 2, the game number 2 that sat in my, that really caught me, that made me go, wow, was Alabama losing to Florida State. Thomas Castellano said famously before this game, they've got nothing for me. They don't have Nick Saban to save them anymore. And Alabama fans were up in arms about that. And, you know, it's a pretty bold statement to make. It was very Joe Namath-esque of Mr. Castellanos, who is a transfer player coming in to Florida State. But Alabama fans were resting their hopes on their new quarterback with Ty Simpson. He didn't have a half-bad performance in 23 of 54 for 23 of 43 for 254 2 touchdowns. But as we know, that was not enough because they didn't get a lot of rush support. It looks like they got less than 100 yards rushing support from the running back room. And that was about it because Florida State was about it. Their defense really had Ty on his back. They recorded 3 sacks. They reported 3 sacks altogether. And he did look to be, he was running around quite a bit trying to get away from that Seminoles defense. You also had Ty, and Castellano's going to have to do a lot with his arm. He only threw 14 passes for 152 yards and had not one singular passing touchdown, but he had a rushing touchdown. Let's see, all the touchdowns were rushing touchdowns. One from Keziah Holmes, one from Gavin Sawchuk, one from Kyle Banzi, and of course the one that he ran. And Bama had no answer for it. Now Bama fans are furious. Now Bama fans, for you guys, season's not over. It's one game. I know you had Nick Saban there and you missed Nick, but I need you to go back and take a good look at what old Nick's record was the first couple of years. He didn't come in and kick the door in and immediately hoist the national championship trophy. It took him a minute to build that program where it needed to be. Well, Kalen DeBoer is trying to do the same thing, so at least give it an opportunity. And let's get a little further into the season before you break out the torches and the pitchforks. All right. Although people are already calling for a job, people are already saying that they're defensive coordinator in spot, yada, yada, blah, blah. Final score 31-17, Seminoles over Alabama. Big shouts out, big ups to my guys that are Alabama. There are two really great Bama content creators, being Kangaroo Black and the Piano Man, the Long Walk with Piano Man. I haven't heard what Piano Man's take is, but I heard what KB had to say about it. Bama fans are not happy, and rightfully so. Little known stat: since Alabama beat Georgia in the middle of last season, which was, come on, where is it? Which was on September 28th, almost a year ago. September 28th, like week 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, game 4, week 4 of the season. Since Bama beat Georgia, they have gone 5-5. 5. I can't be right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh yeah, he's right. 5-5. They've gone 5-5 since they beat Georgia this time last year. And for Bama fans, we understand why that is not acceptable. There's a standard that has been placed. You've had these Nick Saban's players stood on the shoulders of the giants of the Bear Bryant era, and these guys, you expect them to stand on the shoulders of the giants of the Nick Saban era. Do I think it can happen? Maybe. I don't know. I can't speak to it. But just a season and a half, not enough. He came in and coached them to a 9-3 season for a team that folks expected to fall all the way off the map. And I know Alabama fans are used to 10, 11, 12-win seasons, national championships, conference championships. It's going to take some time and a little bit of rebuilding. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but at least give it some time before you, like I said, pitchforks and torches, hold off on that. Saving grace right now is you got a $60 million buyout. Nobody's willing to write that kind of check. So let's keep this thing moving and get into LSU, who took on, let's get the LSU at number 9, who took on the number 4, Clemson Tigers at Clemson in South Carolina, Death Valley. LSU stepped up and managed to break the streak. They, come on and open up. They managed to break the streak. What streak? I'm glad you asked. LSU has had a history of losing their season openers all the way back to starting with the season after Joe Burrow. They hadn't won a season opener since then. Well, they've got that monkey off their back with 17-10 win over Clemson in South Carolina. Klubnik, not a bad day, 19-38 for 230 and 1 interception, but no touchdowns. And he did run for his life a lot. Garrett Nussmeier, 28-38 for 230 and a touchdown. And yeah, let's see, how many sacks did they get? You know what? That's ironic. There were only 2 sacks, which is funny given the fact that every time I saw Klubnik, he's got to be able to run at least a 4.34, 4.40, but he was running it to the sidelines because he was trying to get away from those defenders, which forced him to give up a lot of passes a lot earlier than he needed to, and that's good for LSU. So LSU, congratulations. I don't know where you went during the offseason to find that defense, but kudos to y'all. Brian Kelly, your family is very proud. So that is what we have there. 17-10 at LSU over Clemson. We got some more games on the horizon today. I do believe that, let's see who's playing today. Y'all know I should have had all this stuff pulled up before I decided to start recording. But Ole Miss handily knocks off Georgia State. Ole Miss handily knocks off Georgia State. Why is it doing this? See, I didn't want top 25. Florida knocked off, I think, Liberty, Texas, A&M 42-24 over UTSA. Now, we got a couple more games tonight that we have not seen. Oh, no wonder. I typed in football. SEC football. That's what we're looking at. That's what we're talking about. Right now, the South Carolina is holding off in the second quarter. Is holding off Virginia Tech 7-5. Let's see what the stats are looking like. Where is it? I did it again. Can we just cooperate with me here? Okay, so right now, the Lawrence Sell is 5-9 for 66 yards, no touchdowns, but he did run for one. And Virginia Tech, how did they get their points? Looks like a field goal and possibly a safety. But that's where we are right now into this just inside the second quarter. Let's see what else is going on. Any other SEC teams playing today? Just waiting for this to open up. By the way, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know I'm just kind of shooting from the hip right now. I think that's the only SEC game today, it looks like. Yeah, that's it, because that's the last game on the slate for SEC football this weekend. Lenore Suller should be, they're playing in South Carolina. That has become a hard place to play, especially when you got the fans with the whiteout and the towels and sandstorm and beaver ball. So we'll see how that pans out. Let's see what other games we got on slate today. Let's just see what college football games we have. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I did not write anything down, take any notes, but you know what? Y'all will be all right because it's Labor Day weekend and a lot of y'all are off. So give your bro a little bit of a slide. Let your bro slide. Okay, we've got Notre Dame taking on Miami at 6:30. That is another. Wow, that's going to be a good game. Number 6 Notre Dame versus number 10 Miami, and North Carolina. Why is North Carolina not even showing up on here? See, there's no love at all for North Carolina. I believe they should raise up, take the shirt off, and twist and run the head, spin it like a helicopter. I believe somebody said something like that back in 2000, 2001, something of that nature. Let's see what we got today. That's tomorrow night. North Carolina will be taking on TCU. I thought that game was this evening. My apologies. We also got Winston-Salem taking on Tuskegee at 7 p.m. in the Crampton Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama. That one will be on ESPNU for those of you that are watching the HBCUs. Great game to check out. So I'm going to get out of here, check out what's going on with South Carolina, Virginia Tech. You guys have yourselves a wonderful Labor Day weekend. And I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. Collin and I will be back with more stuff and more reports, and we'll talk about Georgia more in depth. We'll see you then. Go Dogs.